Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, 28 October, a couple of days before Halloween. I hope you guys have your costumes picked out. I know for sure that I am not going to get dressed for Halloween. It's not my thing, but if you've got kids and they want to dress up and you need to take them out for Halloween, then please have a good time for me. Okay, let's get started with our tickers, a dozen or so. There's been, all-time highs again for the markets. So let's see how our predictions have gone, and let's see if we can make some money. Let's switch over to triple Qs. You can see here, we've got all-time highs today, and it's right back into resistance. The annotation I made right here was to inform everybody that this trend line would continue to be resistance. I think that's still in play. I'm going to extend the trend line a bit just so that we can progress it forward in time. And I'm going to put the resistance line, just shift it over. So you can see as well, if you look down here in the RSI, how with all-time highs here, if you look down here, the RSI is trending to the downside. So here you go, okay? Further bearish divergence. And you're gonna say, well, John, how many more of these shark signals are you gonna put in? How many more of these? Well, I'm gonna put another one, okay? And the main point is that we're looking at the momentum, and momentum continues to be waning, okay, growing smaller. Now, you have price moving right up into resistance here, momentum continuing to go down. Because we're coming right into resistance, this is a objective short for those who want to short this trade. Let me make an update here for my prediction on where price will go next. It's still to the downside. I'm not changing that. Okay, let's see if I can grab this here. There you go. Let's delete this. And let's re-annotate this real quick. Okay. I think price will go up, hit resistance, and then start its downward move. Okay. The question is there some support anywhere on the way down? There is some support here on this trend line, this price point here at around 610. Okay. But overall, it is further to the downside. Now, if you stayed in the trade over here when I put the first two sharks, let's say you got out here, what will you have missed? Okay, so you will have missed about a 13-14% trade. Excuse me, not trade. Price moved to the upside, so you could have gained that, and then gotten out on today's retest of resistance. So, okay, I'm about I want to make sure that we are all prepared for where the sharks are going next. So with all of this bearish divergence down here, it is to the downside. I'm going to switch to the weekly for us real quick, just to take a peek. From a weekly perspective, yeah, this is all price action right into resistance. But from a weekly perspective, there isn't bearishness. So it is only on the daily perspective. Okay. So if you are in triple Qs long, take your profits, and then wait for a re-entry. Let's switch to the next ticker, the gold miners play, GDX. Last week, I talked about how I felt price would continue to move up and bounce around within the gap fill area. But you can see it hasn't done that. You can see that, in fact, price has continued to move downward, and the overall direction is down, So the question that you should ask is, will price come up and attempt to get back into the gap fill? I don't see that. I think the resistance will be right along here, the underside of the gap fill. It will pose resistance. And because there's no bullishness here, I don't see any bullish momentum on the RSI down here, to say that price will actually come up and attempt to fill through the gap. Okay. Overall direction remains to the downside. So let's say it comes up, bounce around up here, but it will fail. Okay, overall to the downside. Let's switch to the next ticker, Strategy, which is the Bitcoin play. I'm considering looking at BTC as a ticker unto itself. But right now, I'm just kind of comfortable looking at MicroStrategy or Strategy as a ticker to be the proxy for Bitcoin. This ticker at the moment shows bullish divergence, hence I put the whale here. And I'm going to put another one. Let's put the next whale down here to be consistent, to say that it looks to be a bullish trade. Okay. What I do want to highlight, and this is what I talked about last week, was that the trend line, the price point here at around 291 is resistance, and that I think how price is behaving, I think they're going to sell it down. They'll probably have it hit this, sell it down, and perhaps even test this green support zone before having it bounce off and continue its upward move. Okay, so look for that. Right now, it's kind of in this middle zone, middle area where it's not a good short or a good long. So wait. I'd rather wait for it to come down here to take a long down here at around 261, 262. Okay, down here, and then take the long. Okay, I'm just going to slide this 200-day over. It's like that. Fine. Okay, so this is a long opportunity, in fact. Let's switch over to Microsoft. Microsoft really took off in the past couple of days. I talked about the gap fill area with this upper part of the gap fill being resistance. It posed resistance yesterday. You can see that on yesterday's candle. But then today, a day before earnings, they gapped it up and they pushed it up. So I'm going to annotate the gap caused by today's price action. Okay, there you go, further gap. And I want to highlight a different indicator, a different pattern that we need to look out for. With the top here, today's price action, to me, is showing a second top. It's a retest of the top. So here's the top. Today's a retest. Okay. So what does that mean? That means I would play this as a double top. So I'm going to annotate a right here, a resistance area. Okay. So today's attempt to regain all-time highs, perhaps tomorrow and the next day would be further attempt. So I'll annotate it here. Oops, excuse me. Let me zoom in first so we have a little bit more clarity. So I think tomorrow, retest, probably retest again, a couple of days, but then sell down, okay? And yep, so the overall direction is to the downside. This will be resistance up here. Okay, and it's possible, and let me clarify. Let's move this down a little bit there. There's a resistance zone, okay? It's very possible they'll push price up and make a wick. So there'll be a wick up there before selling it down. Is this an objective short? I would say yes. This is an objective short. Yeah, I would say it's an objective short. Okay, let's switch over to Tesla. Tesla's price action over the past couple of days kept testing this resistance area. I put this red annotation as resistance. Now we do see that today's price action, yesterday and today, yesterday poked its head above it, and today stayed above it. Okay, so what is it going to do? Well, it's going to do what Microsoft is doing. It's retesting, and I'm going to annotate the line here as a resistance area. Okay. Now, what I think will happen is Tesla will continue to push upward. Let me move this down just a bit. They're going to push price up, and let me move this. There you go. I'm going to push it up. It'll bounce around up here before failing. Okay. There you go. Let me delete this real quick because it's out of play. This ticker here, excuse me, this annotation, let me delete it. There you go. All right, so let's make this a little cleaner. Overall direction still to the downside. And actually, let me continue the annotation for clarity's sake. So it'll break. Oh, give me a second here so I can be even more clear for you and for us. Okay, so price will bounce around up here, bounce, come down, probably retest the underside of this trend line, but further low prices. Okay, I mean, how much clearer can my drawings be? Now, whether or not it'll do it in this time frame is to be seen, but that is the general direction. Take your profits on Tesla if you're up here. Be thankful for that, and wait for an entry later. Okay, so that's the Tesla trade, Tesla annotation. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir is bouncing around up here. I talked about this resistance area up here, hence the shark. But you can see that there is what looks to be okay, hang on a second. I've got people talking over there, so I'm going to pause this video for a second, close the door. All right, so I just shut the door. What I'm going to do is make an annotation with this what was the all-time high over here on this day, which is 13 August. I'm going to make a line going across here. That's a price point. Okay, and I want us to take a peek and look at how price is behaving around this price point. So let's circle this right here. So this was all-time high from August. And let's look at the price action to yesterday and today. Yesterday and today, okay, essentially dancing around what was the all-time high from August, okay, from a comparison standpoint. What I do, so to me, this is a double top. What I also want to highlight is that the volume, let's look at volume today. Today's volume on today's candle, which is a doji candle, right? This little plus sign, it's an indecision candle by the market makers. They're not sure which way to go, yesterday and today. They don't know if they should go up or go down, okay? Today's price action is 38 million. Yesterday's was 47 million. And comparing it with, let's see, where we were over here, 53 million, okay? So 53 million on what was the prior high point was a selling day. And that launched further selling here, all this selling here, until price came all the way down, hit this trend line here, okay? So that move from what was, let's see, let me move this real quick. So this from where they were down to this was about a 20% drop, okay? From here down to here was about 20% drop. And then people got back in, bought the dip, and they bought it back up. But now we're retesting this. Let's make it thicker. Right there, we're retesting this zone of resistance, okay? In my opinion, because everything I talk about on this channel is my opinion, it is a selling moment. And what I want to highlight is what we can see. We can see that over here, this is higher than over here, okay? And what that caused is further bearishness, even greater bearishness, going like this. So the momentum really is to the downside. And let's make it very clear, okay? So look at that. Momentum to the downside, price going up. They may push it up further just for a couple of days. It may poke its head a little bit higher here, create even greater bearish divergence. But really, this is not the point to go long, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just slide my my annotation to the right because it's unchanged. I'm not changing my tune. It's further low prices for Palantir. Just if you're in it long, get out, take your profits, be happy, be joyful going into Halloween. Buy a ton of candy, give it to all the neighborhood kids, right? Because this is not the time to go long, okay? So I'm telling you, let's put another shark. And the sharks are telling one another to get out, okay? All right, so that is Palantir. Let's go over to Northrop Grumman. Oh, this is a fun one. It's a fun one because I put this little warning sign here. When I put this phishing sign, it means we're likely going to be baited. They're going to bait us to try to get us to the dip buyers to buy in. But I've already told everybody over the past couple of months that the sharks are going to be selling, okay? They baited you here, and you can see that people bought in, but they're getting out. They're happy for you to get in so they can get out, take their profits. So further low prices remains in play. I think the baiting isn't done. So I'm just going to slide it over. They're going to get the dip buyers to keep buying, but the overall direction is to the downside. Oh, let's clean this up just a little bit. Like this, like this. So it'll probably come up. I'm making it even more clear. Okay? To the downside. Just watch out for that. Let's switch over to General Motors. All right, this one I put the quotes. See the shark with the quotes? Because that was a predictive. I don't know how to annotate any differently that I'm predicting something. But I predicted that they will push price further up so that bearishness would show up here in the RSI. Hence, the selling will begin en masse. So right now, no bearishness yet. My annotation remains there as the shark in quotes, so it's coming. Take your profits, people. And you can even see this. Let's go to the hourly. You can see the rising wedge, the pizza wedge. I talk about the pizza wedge all the time, okay? So let's just draw this pizza wedge for people, just so you can see what I mean. So go like this, okay? Let's make it in black. Give me a second here in black. And I'm gonna see the bottom side of the pizza wedge. All right, so look at how the pizza wedge, bottom edge, okay? Bottom edge touches right there. See how that looks? Okay, and zooming in, touches right there. And you got all the touches along here, okay? And then the upper part of the pizza wedge, let me just eyeball it real quick. Give me a second. Something like that. No. It's probably like, okay, like that. Upper part of the pizza wedge, okay? So what you see is a pizza wedge. This is on the hourly. I'm going to put some resistance here. There's a resistance right there. They might push it up tomorrow on the open, up in here, hit the resistance. They might even peak it up a little bit further. But the main point is when it breaks on the hourly, when it breaks this bottom edge of the pizza wedge right here, then further low prices, that's the beginning of the selling, okay? So that's if you trade the hourly or the 15-minute candle. I don't really advise it. I'm just using it as a frame of reference to teach my method. Further low prices are coming for, there you go, for General Motors, okay? I would short it here, so I'm waiting for the short underneath this. Okay, let's go over to a long play, GIS. This one is just taking longer to unfold. The bullishness is all here. And I've already informed everybody that these whales are buying back in. They've already told each other. The question is, when is the big buying going to start? Okay, I'm in this trade long. I already got in over here. Okay, no change in my overall prediction. So I'm just waiting for it to unfold. Okay, no change for this one. Let's go over to UPS. This is also a long play. And I'm in this one, and today's price action, 8% gain, okay. I got into it back over here somewhere. I'm up about 10%. All right, so the question is, did it do as I thought? Yeah, I mean, I made the annotations here, said that likely price will come up and test the 200-day. And indeed, it did that today. I didn't expect it to do it so quickly. I thought it would kind of gradually move its way up and then hit the 200-day somewhere over here to the right. It's just an estimate. But they did it earlier. Look what it did today. It came up, hit the 200-day, which is this, not my annotation. My annotation's a little bit off because it's just freehand. I'm just going to slide my annotation over. Let's see, grab my blue annotation. Okay, there. So the 200-day is this line right here. They hit it today at the open, and then they sold it down throughout the day. Okay, so the main point is it's behaving as expected. It will hit the 200-day. Now the question is, it hit the 200-day, and in my video a couple weeks ago, I said, if it hits the 200-day, I will need to make a decision if I want to get out of the trade, as in take my profits, because I like to trade between the lines. I don't like to stay in a trade, let it reach a target only for it to go back and then come back in. I rather, I don't want to stay in the trade while it moves up and down. And if it hits a target, I'll get out. I'll make a decision. So what I had planned to do was to assess how it behaves when it hits the 200-day. And what I can see is today's hit of the 200-day is based on the catalyst of earnings. Okay, the earnings reports came in really positively. What I expect retail investors to do, those who watch the news after the market closes, listen to the analysts, and watch other people's YouTube videos, what everybody will say is, oh my gosh, UPS beat estimates by 35%. Their revenue is up 3%. Everything is rosy. So what will happen, I expect, is tomorrow and the next couple of days, is the retail investor will buy UPS and further push this price up. Okay, I expect that. So I'm going to stay in the trade. What I think will happen is they will push it up, bless them. They will push it up. It will get into the gap and fill the gap. Okay, it'll fill the gap, and maybe the resistance point where I'll actually take profit is either the top of the gap or at this spot here. Okay, so let's zoom out, take a look at those 2 points. This top of the gap, all right, gap fill, right, coincides with this spot here. All right, so this is about, what is this, 101? about 101.50, okay? I will have to pay attention to see how price behaves there. But that may be my first profit-taking point where I will close my trade. And then I will wait for it to come back and bounce off the 200-day, like right here. Or maybe it'll come back and bounce off the bottom part of this gap zone, okay? I'm going to delete this one for now because let's delete this annotation for now because it's already played out pretty quickly. So first area where I might take profit is here. Now, if it busts through there, sorry, I'll just leave it like that. If it breaks through there and hits this spot here, let's take a look, zoom out, take a look at how this line was drawn, okay? So going back. All right, so this line, which is this one right here, goes all the way back. Okay, goes all the way back to 21, May 21. So it's a legit line. It will pose decent resistance. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Make it like that. Okay, so that would probably be a better exit for me. So I'm going to go like this. Let's go like this. It's just, all right, like that. Okay, so we all know that the upper edge of this gap fill will be resistance because that's just how gap lines work. But I really think price will come up and likely bounce off of this. Okay, that's where I'll probably take a short and wait for a re-entry for it to get above and keep going. Okay, so for now, yeah, I look to take profit anywhere along this trend line here. Okay, it could be anywhere like this. All right. So remember, when I make an annotation and I drew that line, it doesn't mean it's going to hit it right there. Okay. It may hit anywhere along the trend line because it's a trend line. You have to take my my opinions as a zone, right? This is a zone of resistance. It's not an actual price spot. It's a zone of resistance along a trend line because of prior historical price movements along the trend line, okay? Using it as support here, support all along here, support here, okay? It's a pattern of behavior. So I expect it to behave a certain way. Okay, so that's that one. It's going well, you know. Oh, and you should have said, hey, you should draw the gap fill here. A gap, yes, huge one. So let's draw that. Will price come back down here to test it? It might. But at the moment, there is no momentum indication for it, okay? So right now, we're playing up here. All right. Let's look at another long play, Lululemon. Okay, you can see how I made this indecision point. I'm in this long. It's a good trade so far. The NFL, they announced right here, the NFL, you know, oh, wow, Lululemon and NFL are collaborating so that Lululemon will supply clothing for the NFL, something like that. Fine. That is the catalyst to pump. Now, that's good for us because I talked about bullishness over here. Hence, I put the whale, okay, bullish signal. And I expect that Lululemon will continue to move up. Now, the question is, how much resistance will the upper edge of this gap fill pose? The remaining distance between where we are now and the gap fill is, all right, about just under 12%, okay? And when it gets there, then I will take profit and then decide what to do, whether there's a momentum change or whether there's remaining momentum to continue. The reason why I didn't draw an arrow, a long arrow all the way up here, right, to gap fill in this zone up here is because of what I feel is bullishness, but not tons of bullishness, not like the UPS trade, okay, which has much more bullishness here, so that there's more overall strength and longevity for price to continue upward. So I'm going to play this one a little bit more conservatively. There's the 200-day, just kind of freehanding it. And here you go. So we'll play it up to the top part of this gap fill. That's about a 10% more move. What did I say it was? Goodness. I said it was almost a 12% move. And then we'll decide at that point where to go from there. Okay? So that is Lululemon. Let's go to the last ticker, also a long play. This one has lots of bullishness, lots and lots of bullishness. Hence, I put the whale here. Okay, let's kind of slide this over. More bullishness still. Based on that, I feel there's a lot of momentum on this one, but I do want to wait. I haven't taken the trade yet long. I want to wait until it gets above this purple trend line. And the reason is this purple trend line is, if you go back to my prior video 1 week ago, this purple trend line is a tremendous historical trend. I mean, it goes back 2 decades, in fact. So watch that video so you can understand my analysis. I would like to take a trade long when price comes back, right? It'll break through, and then when it comes back, that's when I want to take a long off the trend line. I mean, some of you might say, hey, it broke through, I'll just take a long. You could do that, but I'm a little bit more discerning. I like my trades to be, really clean, as close as I can get to a trend line. So let's have price bust through, come back, get close to the purple trend line, then take a long. Okay, that's the bounce, like the way a basketball bounces. Okay. All right, those are the tickers. Please give me a thumbs up, click the notification bell, like and subscribe, share my info with your friends and family. If I'm helping you learn something new, let me know. If you're not sure about a concept, give me a comment so I can review and decide how to explain it in my next video. I still intend to do the ecosystem video. It just takes time to figure out how to use Canva to animate some of my concepts and explanation of the ecosystem. And as always, good luck with your trades.